Welcome to the Unstoppable Real Estate Agents Podcast. I'm your host and real estate productivity expert, Kim Hughes. Join me as we focus on real strategies and implement real solutions designed for you to achieve major success in your business and life while getting you organized. Hi everybody, it's Kim Hughes, and today we will be discussing target marketing. So as you know, this is a very powerful marketing strategy that has been used for many, many years with all types of businesses. And it starts with understanding who your potential customer base is and then breaking it down into segments. Then, by focusing on that specific group of people, you can look at their characteristics and learn how to better engage with them and create a more effective marketing campaign. So when you identify a target market, it is essential for your business, whether it's big or small, you're a single agent, or you have a team of 20, or you own the brokerage. When you find your target audience, you will learn how to communicate with them in an effective and meaningful way. This is the key to establishing relationships and building profits. With the right market strategy, you can open the door to incredible growth for your business. And when you're creating your marketing strategy, it is important to consider your target audience. So to do this effectively, it's important to think about the demographics of the area that you would like to reach, as well as your clients that have done business with you in the past, your business associates, and anybody else that you have come into contact with. So for example, let's just talk about past clients, because this is your core group of people. This is people that have done business with you. They know how you work. They know your personality. And hopefully you have kept those relationships intact as you have moved forward with your business, as well as staying in touch with them. So one of the things that you might want to look at is when you have your past clients is, let's say you've been in the business 5 years, okay? And so therefore you have this great past client database, but let's break it down even further. So I want you to take your past clients and create buyers that are past clients, and then a category for sellers that are past clients. And then that's where you create your marketing strategy on how you're going to talk to them, or even what you might want to call target that audience, because you have to talk to them based on what their needs are. So if you have a past client buyer, then what you should be talking to them about is selling. And then maybe moving up, maybe you realize that, when I sold them that house, their kids were teenagers. Those kids are now out of the house. Maybe they're empty nesters. So you need to kind of look at, who is your audience, break it down into segments, and then decide how do you want to communicate with them. And you have to be very focused on how you do that. Okay, so once you've done that, doing past clients is super easy. But then let's just think about your entire community. So you have communities, you have subdivisions, you may work with different towns. So for example, if you're in the Dallas, Texas area, you could work in Plano, Frisco, McKinney, Prosper, Aubrey. There's so many communities or what we call towns that back up to each other. So you can sell in all of these communities, but they all offer something different. They offer something that maybe that home seller that's living there now, maybe they're ready to move over to Frisco to another school district. Maybe they want to pare down, or they need to, have a bigger home, more square footage. So you need to look at that. So if you live in that kind of an area where all your towns back up to each other, then I would suggest you looking at zip codes and breaking down, your zip codes and then your price points. And then kind of look at that and decide what is it who do you want to work with? So that's always the first thing that I say is you look at that and say, okay, well, if I'm looking at, we'll just say zip code 75773. And you want to target homes in that zip code for 500 plus. then that's your target market. But then what you want to do is break it down into even more to find out who's lived in that home for that, how many years, what's that community like now. It could have been a brand new master planned community at one time, and now it's even grown even bigger, or maybe those homes are now starting to sell. So usually, we always talk about, 3 to 5 years. You want to look at the homeowner to see what that is, to determine if you want to target them to move up or just move into another area. So when we do this, we want to look at those zip codes, and maybe, these are going to be your new clients, okay? These are leads that you haven't met. And so go out there and look at your zip codes, look at your demographics, look at your neighborhoods, the communities, who are you wanting to target? And once you make that avatar of who you want to target, then you go look for those people. And then when you get that down, then you create that content of what you're going to say to them. So once you have that content, then how are you going to distribute it to them? Are you going to send out postcards? Are you going to pick up the phone? Are you going to try to find them on social media? Are you going to look for their phone numbers and text them? And then once you do that, then what are you going to have them? What are you going to offer them? So I always say that no matter what you're doing in marketing, whether it's, regular mail, e-blast, social media, whatever, you have to talk to that audience based on that platform. Then I want you to look at that and say, what do I need to say to them, and how long does this last? So if you're creating a campaign, how long is that campaign going to last? So kind of think about, if you're looking at a specific zip code, you've got your price point, that it's a 500,000 plus home. You want to work with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 5,000 square feet, 2,000 square feet. You can decide who your audience it needs to be, so that you can go and look for that audience and then create the content to talk to that audience. And when you are doing this content, you need to make sure that you have a call of action. So everything that you do should have a call of action, so that the person that gets that postcard in the mail, they're not just reading it and then throwing it in the junk pile. They've got, they're off. He wants me to do something. So then what is it you're going to offer? And then how are they going to get that? Okay. So you've got to really think this strategy through to make sure that it flows in a consistent way, but at the same time that you can start getting your audience to start communicating with you. So I always say is send them to your website, offer them something from your website. Maybe it's a market report, maybe it's a CMA, maybe it's, what the rental prices are in that neighborhood. It could be anything you want it to be, any kind of call of action. For buyers, you could maybe give them a free little checklist of, what is it they're looking for in their next home? Or maybe here are the 3 tips to get ready to be a homeowner. What do you need to do as a buyer? What do you need to do as a seller? It doesn't have to be, something grandiose, but it does need to be something that they will get and appreciate and reach out to you when they're ready to either buy or sell. Okay, so these are the things that you need to look at with your target marketing. Now, I want you to understand that a target market, this is a broad group of people that you can market to, such as everybody in that zip code of 75773. Okay, or you may even say, I just want to focus on this one subdivision or this one master plan community that was built 5 years ago. So look at your area and decide, what is that market going to look like? And once you've made that decision on what that market is, then you're going to create your audience. So this is a target audience. It's a smaller group of people. They could have, maybe these are people you just go to church with. That is a target audience. Okay. Maybe people that are in your, Kiwanis club. Or maybe it's people that you know, jog with every day or play tennis with. Maybe these are people that your kids go to gymnastics together. So you see what I'm trying to do is to get you to focus on not just the market, but the audience. Narrow that down, or what they call niche it down into very specific type of people that you want to target, okay? So for example, you might want to target the homeowners, we'll say a subdivision called Hickory Creek. Okay, who in Hickory Creek subdivision could be a potential seller? And what is that criteria in that subdivision that seller has to meet? Because what you're going to do is approach that seller to sell. So now you're going to list their property, but then you've got to help them find something. So you've got to look at that in both ways when you market to them. Don't just talk about, you know, I can sell your home, I'm the best realtor for you, etc. Or, you know, the top 10 reasons to hire a realtor. It should be a marketing strategy where one postcard would talk about selling, and then another postcard would talk about how they would sell that home and then buy what they need. You know, again, it could be empty nesters. It could be their family's growing. They need a bigger home. You just need to figure that out of what that communication is going to be. So in our business, when we're helping our sellers create this strategy of target marketing and then helping them pick their audience, what we're saying is, okay, now we need to create a strategy. You don't know these people. So the best way to do it is by doing a postcard campaign. And usually we do 10 to 12 postcards. You can do 8. I wouldn't do less than 8. But remember, every message has to speak to that seller. And you need to give them a call of action. And then you need to create that postcard. So the first one's about buying, the second one is selling, the third one is selling. And reverse it, go back and forth, maybe 2 things on one. You know, it can be very creative in your content and in your design. So when you are mailing something out through regular mail, and this goes for digital copy too, make sure that you have your branding in place so that when they see it, they immediately associate you with that branding. So if you don't have a logo, you don't have your colors, you don't have a branding, package, then you need to look at that and try to put something together. You can go to Fiverr, there's plenty of people that can help you with this. And if you still don't know anybody, reach out to me because I know people that can do this for you. And then use that consistently in all of your marketing. Okay. So then we want to talk about, the key points. So let's just kind of consider all your target audience. Then these are some of the things that you might want to think about, or what I should say is your target market. So we're going to look at demographics. Going by just a zip code or a specific neighborhood, community is a really good way to introduce yourself without being too salesy. Okay. So what I would say is the first postcard would probably be something like, when was the last time, somebody did a market analysis on your home? Call me today. I'm happy to do it. Or fill out my form on my website, order my CMA or my market analysis, and then they will submit that information to you, which is great because if you do it through your website and you create a form on your website, then you can ask them for all kinds of information, so their name, their phone number, their email, what's their address, how big is their home, how many bedrooms, are they thinking about moving, where are they wanting to move to, so you can get a lot of information off of that form so that when you receive it and you create that market analysis, when you call them, you have the details. So you're not wasting time trying to get that over the phone or through a text message or something like that. Okay, so another audience could be something like your past clients, which we talked about. And again, I want you to break those clients down into buyers, sellers. They could be your investors. You can even go as far as taking that past client and saying that, okay, well, I'm going to break this down even further to those past clients that have referred me. And then you would market to them in a different way than you would somebody that you have as a past client, but they have not referred you. So you see what I'm trying to do is trying to get you to think about niching very specific to that clientele, okay, or to that audience, or that you want to target specifically. Then I want you to think about your business associates. These are your plumbers, your electricians, your housekeepers, your carpet cleaners, your landscapers, your insurance agent, mortgage brokers, anybody that you do business with when it comes to real estate. They need to be on that special list of how you market to them. Now, this could be through email blast, or again, it could be just a card in the mail. When you're working with business to business, I would say text messaging, e-blasting and then social media would be the top ways to work, to reach out to them. This is your core group. These are people that when you refer to them, they're going to refer back to you. And it would be great to have a vendors list so that when you send out maybe the postcard to that Hickory Creek subdivision, to those sellers that own homes of 500,000 plus, you could tell them, do you need any, are you looking to do any updates on your home? I have a great list of vendors that I'm more than happy to share with you. Reach out to me today, send me an email, text me, etc. So what you want to do is kind of tell them, say, hey, if you need something, I have a great network of people that I can refer you to. And so there you go. We're referring. You're taking your client, your past client, you're referring them to the landscaper that you've known for 5 years. He's going to appreciate it. So when he's landscaping somebody else's home and he hears, hey, so-and-so's wanting to sell or buy, he's hopefully saying, well, call my agent, So that's a really good way to do it. A lot of agents don't do this. So I think that if you just tap into your business to business and create that target audience there, I think that would just be a huge win for you. And then as we go on talking about these different, the target market and the audiences, let's talk about micro marketing. Now, micro marketing, it allows you to create a narrower segment of a niche group. And this group could be defined as specific criteria. So for example, if you niche in sellers with children, empty nesters, businesses that are in your community, that do relocations. So if you're working with a large corporation where they're having people coming in and out, that you need to know who those people are. You need to know who that is in the relocation department, and you need to know who are the agents in these other cities or towns that this company is in, so that you can get to know those realtors. So if they have somebody moving to your area, they can refer you from that list. So that's where I'm kind of going with the micro marketing. And then once you have your plan laid out by deciding who you want to begin, you need to create that marketing strategy with them. So we've already talked about some of these things. So keep in mind that first you need to create your brand. Make sure that you already have this in place, because if you don't, it's going to just be like hitting your head up against the wall. Then I want you to figure out who is your target audience, and then create your marketing content. And then make your templates and everything that you want to send, whether it's an e-blast, a text, social media post, something that you're mailing to them. Make sure you have that content and that design ready, okay? And then you want to know, how am I going to market to them? So, decide how you're going to do that. Like I said, with businesses, you may want to think of another strategy of how you communicate, because they don't really need to get business mail at their residence, and they may not see it at their office, because if they have a staff, the staff will see it before that person does, and then it may just be thrown in the trash or something. So think about how you want to work with these clients that you have such a potential with to grow. And then I want you to create an account with an online printer, or maybe visit with your local printer who can ever give you the best deal, and talk to them about pricing, and so that you can put your budget together. And then, of course, like I said, design your marketing pieces, create your content, and then schedule that marketing piece. How many times a week are they going to hear from you? Is it once a week, 0, once a month, twice a month, once a quarter? How are you going to do this? And then I want you to kind of create an Excel spreadsheet where you have, okay, I've mailed it to this zip code, these addresses, or this subdivision, or these past clients, etc. And then you can keep up with how that is delivered and what your return of investment is going to be. So keep that very focused on, when you launch your strategy or your campaign, and then track it so that you can see at what point do you start hearing from them. So for example, with our, we have an expired listing system. It's phenomenal. If you don't know anything about it, go to my website, check it out, because it's great. Every single client that uses this system, if they use it correctly, gives them 100% return of investment, hands down. So keep that in mind. But here's the strategy with that, is when we are sending information to that for sale by owner, we mark it on the spreadsheet. So let's just say it's, Bob and Sue Smith. First mailing went out on, let's say March 1st. Then on March 6th, we send another one. March 7th, we send March 16th, we may send another one. So you've got to know what your schedule is going to be so that you can keep up with it and know your budget. But here's the thing, is when that person reaches out to you by the third time, and you see that consistency of 3 or 4 mailings of whatever that is, you can see that rhythm of, okay, it's taking about 3 times for them to reach out to me. And then you can kind of start seeing that pattern and start building on that momentum, and then go back and tweak maybe those first 2 postcards or those first 2 e-blasts, and tweak them to where maybe you can get them to respond on the second one. And then the goal is to get them to respond on the first one. But don't get discouraged, because this is not a shiny new object, okay? This is something that we have been doing for years and years and years. It works, but it does take time. It takes dedication. You need to be focused. You need to know what you're going to be doing. So if you sit down and you plan it out now and get your rhythm of what you're going to do and who you're going to target, then you get your strategy in place, you implement it, and then it's a matter of managing it. And then once you do that, you will see a huge return of investment on this. I'm telling you, it's consistency, but it's also knowing who your target audience is. So that's where you really need to think about that. Could it be your own neighborhood? Maybe you have some apartments down the road, and you're ready to market to them to buy. So going to the renters and helping them buy their first home would be great, because they're throwing their money away in rent, right? So maybe that's your target audience. So do what you feel is what you enjoy and the people that you enjoy working with, and know that your price point, know that what you're looking at in that home, so that when you create this marketing strategy, whether it's, if you've niched it down, know who you're going to work with. Because if you don't enjoy working with a certain type of people, then stay away from that market, right? So, but if you really enjoy working with, first-time home buyers, then, that's something to get excited about. But if you hate it, then don't target them, okay? So kind of keep that in mind on how you want your future to look in your business, how you want to see the profit making come into it, and then that's how you sit down and you work this strategy out. I would say it might take you a few hours, 3 or 4 hours to think it through. But you know what? You can also just pick up your CRM, look at your past clients, break it down into 3 categories: buyer, seller, and who has referred you from that group. and then create your strategy on them and then build it out from there. You should feel very comfortable working with your past clients. And if you're one of those agents that says, oh my gosh, I haven't reached out to a past client in over 2 years, then this is a great time to start, So there's so many ways that you can do this, and it can be so successful and so rewarding, not just as helping people, but profiting from it. And so take the time to invest into your business by sitting down, creating a target audience based on that target market. Okay. Now, if you're struggling with this and you're totally like, I don't know what she's talking about, I'm not understanding, then reach out to us. We do this all the time. This is one of our areas of expertise. We know how to help you target that particular client, but we have to go through that strategy. You can't just say, okay, well, I'm going to go to, all the neighborhoods that start with a 1. You can't do that. You've got to know more about what you want in order for that target market and that target audience is going to do for you, as well as, the micro marketing. So that's what we have for you today. I hope that you've enjoyed this podcast about target marketing. And again, if you struggle with this part of your business, then reach out to us, Kim at Kim Hughes, and visit my website, kimhughes.com. And we look forward to seeing what you're doing with this. If you have any tips, please drop a note to us or post it in the show, in the comment section. And, feel free to share this with you. And we always really appreciate if you would, subscribe to the podcast and listen to it and everything. It really helps us. And we are gaining so much momentum with our podcast. We are so delighted that we're helping so many agents, especially right now, with everybody questioning things that are going on. This is a great time to sit down and look at this and put this plan in place, because whether if you start it now, it'll still be working for you 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. You'll tweak it as you go along, but you'll have the base in place. All right? So go out, make it a great day, and we will talk to you next week. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you know someone, and I bet you do, who would appreciate this podcast, please share it with them. As a reminder, this podcast can be delivered directly to your favorite device by using the subscribe links you can find in the show notes below or over at unstoppablerealestateagents.com. Remember, it takes as much energy to wish as it does to plan. Have a great day.